to approve the prior meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Jermaine,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Riley,
Yes.
Chairperson Donegan. Council President Paplaskas.
Yes.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, were those minutes distributed to the committee? Has everyone seen them? Where are they? I think you should rescind the vote until you see the minutes.
Make a motion to reconsider.
Second.
On the motion to reconsider, Councilmember Jermaine,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Riley,
Yes.
Chairperson Donegan. Council President Paplaskas.
Yes.
The votes are 4 in the affirmative, none in the negative.
I'll make a motion to continue these minutes to next month's meeting.
Second.
Councilmember Jermaine,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Riley,
Yes.
Chairperson Donegan. Council President Paplaskas.
Yes.
Votes are 4 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative.
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember, Jermaine,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Riley,
Yes.
Chairperson Donegan. Council President Paplaskas.
Yes.
Chair Dalton again, if you could just press the button on your microphone and picked up on Zoom. Thank you. For the public record, votes were taken while in executive session. I'll entertain a motion to seal the minutes of executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Seeing none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Jermaine,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Riley,
Yes.
Chairperson Donegan,
Yes.
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes.
Seeing nothing else on the docket, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Councilmember Jermaine,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Riley,
Yes.
Chairperson Donegan, Council President Paplaskas.
Yes. ready for works. Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the December 9th Public Works Committee meeting to order. Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Chairperson Ferry, Councilmember Renzulli, Councilmember Riley,
Here.
Councilmember Capabiano,
Present.
Councilmember Vargas,
Present.
Councilmember Marino,
Present.
Council President Paplaskas.
Present. Thank you. I'd like to recognize we have two council members that are on Zoom, but due to open meetings, I believe cannot participate. Councilwoman Renzulli is COVID caring for somebody, and I did speak to Chairman Ferry earlier, the Council Vice President, feeling a little under the weather, not COVID, but out of abundance of caution isn't here tonight. I'd like to go to our solicitor for a brief update on the OMA and why participants can't participate remotely for an elected body.
Yes, the elected officials, of which the council people are elected officials, may not participate remotely. They are no longer, for these purposes, a member of the public. They are elected officials, so they may not vote and otherwise contribute to the debate on the issue.
Thank you, Solicitor. Certainly welcome our colleagues. Hello, and thank you for following along tonight. Moving on, we need to entertain a motion to approve to continue the prior meeting minutes to the next month's meeting for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? There being none, clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Riley,
Yes.
Councilmember Capabiano,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Councilmember Marino,
Yes.
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes.
Votes of 5 in the affirmative, none in the negative.
Thank you. Moving on, we have ordinance 5-2107. This is for motor vehicles and traffic pedestrian control signals. This was withdrawn, I believe, at the last Public Works Committee meeting by the sponsor, but I believe some work on that project's being done already. So if it's okay with Director Mason, if we can get an update on that.
Ken Mason, Director of Public Works. The work that was proposed is being done at the intersection of Park Avenue and Grace. The foundations for the rapid flash beacons are installed. The new handicap ramps are also installed. We're just waiting on the actual mast and to get them installed. They were due to ship this week, so hopefully by the end of the month, that should be complete.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Director. Thank you, Councilwoman. Moving on to public hearings. Is there anybody online from the public or here to speak on any matters before Public Works this evening? I do not see anyone here in chambers.
See no public comment online.
And no public comment on not online. So at that point, I will close public hearing. Moving on to new matters before the committee. This is a request from Councilwoman Vargas, an assessment and report of all city-owned playgrounds to be provided to council members. And I do see Director Tassaglia from Parks and Rec here, so I will turn the floor over to you, sir. Thank you.
Director Cesalia, Parks and Recreation. I handed out just a short printout of some of the immediate needs we have for playgrounds. A glaring one is the wood fiber mulch. We are in the process of targeting the 3 most needy. We've measured most of the playgrounds in the last 2 weeks to get cubic feet, and they will be addressed accordingly. The 3 we're targeting, I believe, is Doric, Commercial, Dew Temple. There might be a 4th. I'll be meeting with some mulch people this week to get a plan on that, whether we're going to buy it all at once and deliver it per se or do it individually. So that'll be taking place. In addition to that, anything on the list, I also included what components are at each playground, fields, whether they're tot parks, playgrounds, softball fields, et cetera. And the final page was the year that these playgrounds were built. Ironically, some of them that were built years ago are in better shape than some of the new ones. It could be use, it could be the way it is. But again, how do we monitor what's going on? Work is going around, seeing what it is, complaints from the general public, council people, giving their concern from their constituents. So we try to address playgrounds. It's an ongoing thing, fixing. We're trying to eliminate some of the toys that continuously break. The zip line toys have been a problem a few times in the summer. There's a ground piece that they don't like with ropes on it. And I'm in contact with the big toy Representative John LaRue to get, the best product that we can for the new playgrounds. But currently, I've been working with Councilwoman Vargas for the friendly playground. Her and John LaRue and myself have been exchanging notes for the playground over at Payne. I guess it's actually Doric Street, 1 Doric Street, the playground, the park down there. And also in talks with Tim Sanzi, we have plans, try to tie it together to get it out to a bid system for the HUD COVID money. And those 3 playgrounds, Sebo Park on Florida, Whipple, and Smith Street. Khaleesi also falls into that, where plans there are to redo that baseball field, the infield, and extend the fencing towards the river bend area to limit the foul balls that some of the youth groups are losing. Any other questions? I can try to help you out as best I can.
Councilmember Vargas?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Thank you, Director, for providing this information. I'm sorry, I'm kind of going through some of the information you just kind of provided. So, so the ones that you obviously noted on here, you said are the ones that.
The ones that we're targeting first, Councilwoman, would be commercial, Doric, Mechanicat was the one I missed. I'm sorry, that is in dear need.
Are
Do
these,
Temple.
sorry, go ahead.
Yep, do Temple. Those are the 4 I'm looking to target, and we'll be meeting this week just to see if that'll work.
And are these based on old playground equipment or the ground? Is that where you're going based
Well,
out
what
of?
we did was we went around, I had my assistant go around some of the workers, measured the cubic feet of all the area. I have a printout here with the rough. Again, this will have to be tidied up, but how much is needed per playground? And those are how we derived it, getting to those 3, 4 that are in the most need. If you go by Mechanicat, you could see it's 5 to 7 inches below the actual cement line where the wood fiber should be.
All right, thank you. So it seems like this is very pretty straightforward in the sense of 22 basketball courts, 23 baseball fields, 14 softball fields, right? Is that correct? Is that the
Yep.
total that we have in the city?
Correct. Yep.
All right, thank you. I honestly didn't have that information. I'm sure that I could have called and had it, but thank you for providing it this way. So when you're doing assessments on all of these parks on here, what do we have? 36, 41. How many parks do we have total? I'm sorry.
I want to say 35, but I could be wrong. 35 city tot parks and playgrounds. That doesn't include Cranston West or some of the baseball fields or soccer fields. That's playgrounds only is 35.
Okay. The Knightsville one, is that Mechanicat? Is that the one? The park? So I was sent pictures from a
I'm sorry,
constituent
Councilwoman?
and they said, I was sent from a constituent and it was Knightsville, but I wasn't sure where that park is.
Knightsville would be
Probably Sivo Park.
probably Sivo, Florida Ave. Yeah, yeah.
So there are 2 playgrounds in Knightsville. One is at Sivo Park on Florida Avenue. And the second one is at George J. Peters School.
Peters School, right?
So it could be either one of those. Yes, that's Florida Avenue. That's one of the ones I think that you
Yeah, that's the
mentioned.
one I'm working with Director Sanzi. Money is available to total redo on that.
I just happened, to get an inquiry on that one, and I wasn't sure if that's one of the ones that's going to be looked
Yes.
into as well.
Mhm.
Okay, while we're on this very same subject matter, there was a bench that was broken at Edgewood Highland, as well as one of the tube slides, the bottom part of it.
Mhm.
I think the rubbering of the Edgewood Highland playground was also
The floor matting.
correct, the floor matting of it. Do we know if that's in the process
Well,
of getting fixed or the bench being?
To replace
replaced?
the rubber matting is very extensive. I mean, for instance, one of the prices we get on one of the playgrounds was 52,000 for the rubber matting in relation to 6,000 or 7,000 for the wood chip fibers. What they have been doing is cutting out areas of that rubber mat. A lot of times if it's underneath the swing, because that gets worn out more, and they'll replace that. Is that the best answer? No, but I was told by our friend, Mr. LaRue, that we don't want to, put rubber in unless you're going to expect it to replace it. It looks nice, but it's very expensive.
You would fill in that
I
hole
would
with
do wood
something
fiber,
else?
correct.
Okay, any idea on the time?
So what park are we talking? I'm sorry.
Sorry, for the Edgewood. Highland.
Again, I'll look at it. We'll see what we have, how much product we're going to buy. I'm meeting with the people that have done this before, and we're feeling it's better to buy it if it can be stored at a facility, and then they just take it from there to the targeted playgrounds. Originally, we would have had a shutdown, say, do it on a Saturday or Sunday, put the mulch in the parking lot at Mechanicat, and then wheelbarrow it in. This is a different type system where it's going to be blown in. So we're hoping that maybe we can do more than 3 or 4. Just have to see what we have available at this time of year.
We do with a slide that has a huge crack in it, because
What
that's,
park was that? I
that's
thought
the
that
Edge,
was,
that's the
wasn't
Edgewood
that,
Highland.
didn't
It
they
has a-
fix that together? They put some kind of something on it.
Just
and-
recently?
I can check in the morning. I could have
can check.
sworn they had said they adjusted it. Again, it would, it's not brand new now, but it's serviceable
Okay,
and not a hazard.
I'm just hoping that, we don't have any of the children scrape their,
Right. I'll go take a
Legs or
peek
get
at it
hurt,
tomorrow
just
or
'cause it
ask
was
Phil
broke.
or Rodney. I'm almost sure they said they had fixed that.
I'll
to
check in
some
with
extent.
my boss, my son, who uses
Okay.
that, and just to make sure. But I know Commercial Street, and I'm glad Commercial on here
Mhm.
because, as you know,
I
we had that
also
conversation
am
about
looking
Commercial
to
Street
replace
playground.
those baskets there and the backboards. I mean, they look tired.
Okay, yeah, there was cracks
Mhm.
too on the sidewalk. So again, I'm just making sure, honestly, it's just that everyone is enjoying the playgrounds, but also it's a safe environment. No one's gonna.
Right, that's the
there's
biggest
no
thing is the
cracks.
safety. And again, it's good to hear from people. We don't see everything all the time. We could go there on a Tuesday and on a Wednesday, a swing would be broken. If we're not due there back till Friday, you're gonna get complaints in the meantime, but it's our job to go and fix it.
Trash is being picked up on trash day. So like Ward 1, I think the trash day for the majority of the ward, if not, is all on Monday. So any trash bins that are in playgrounds or just anywhere throughout the city, are the trash barrels being picked up the day that the neighborhood pickup is scheduled for?
I'd have to check on that. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think so. I don't think we mirror that. I can check though.
Okay. Thank you. If I have any other questions, I'll give you a
Okay.
shout. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Jermaine.
Thank you, Council President. Mr. Tisaglia, thank you. We have some conversation around some other parts. I see Arcadic is here. Last time we have a conversation and you did do your diligence for the basket court. And when you did put, do something about it, but the most important work was to be done. So I'm really happy that I see you put it there. But also, we have Doric Park. Doric Park needs major renovation. So we just spoke earlier. I
Yep.
went and I took pictures. All the benches need to be replaced. So it's really not acceptable. Someone can sit in your your dress, your pins can
Yeah,
be.
I saw the pictures. You're right.
Yes, so you saw all those pictures. So Ken, I know you, would you please really commit to make sure
Yeah,
something is
I
done?
will
for
by
the-
tomorrow. I'll call building maintenance. They usually do our benches for us. And we'll try to set up some kind of plan and give you a timetable on it.
And also we have 2 basket court down and the crack, it's dangerous. How it's uneven when those youth went to play, they can break their legs.
Yeah, like I said previously, that's a major project and it's something we're gonna have to look into. I had Narragansett paving over at Aqueduct when we spoke, months ago. And that is we'd be wasting our time and money trying to saw cut patch. So that's another park that might have to be redone.
It's
Just
need to be
finding out a
redone.
way to get it done, and that's what we're gonna try to do.
Yes, yes. So I would love, because there was some conversation last week on Facebook about this park. As I mentioned, I am not someone who will comment on Facebook. I choose not to do that because it's slippery slope for me.
What is
Because
Facebook?
through Facebook, there was
Oh,
some-
I'm being facetious.
Yeah,
I'm saying,
so
what is
I-
Facebook?
So, but there was some conversation about people who vandalized Doric Park.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and I saw picture and I just show you earlier. So those picture, I don't know who did it, why they did it. So, but I didn't comment
Yeah, it's
about
not
it.
something we did, so I'll look into that
We
tomorrow.
need to follow to know why
Yeah.
people went to Doric Park to vandalize. So
Right.
to write those things, I don't know why they mean. So is that the message they sent? Because the park is really in dear condition.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that reason, but we need to do something about it. So I have also another park. I sent an email. It's been months and months. I sent an email since we have the grant maker. So I sent an email to her to say to look at the spec field playground. This park has nothing really for children.
The actual components of the
spec field,
okay,
yeah. So if there is 3 moms, for example, you have 18 years old, you want to go there on the summertime, there's no way 3 moms can go to this park. And there's a big neighborhood there.
Mhm.
So it's not possible, right? And even, so I would love to see more options for the people. So you have this slide, I think there's no slide, really one, just
there's a small slide, I believe
small-
it's spec.
there is 2 strings. One for a baby.
Mhm.
So if 2 moms wants to have the baby wants to go like 18 or 1 year old, 2 friends cannot go to this park. There's nothing for them. So I think they are all, we have a demographic, we have a changing demographic, our population increase. So my really suggestion is to see how with the administration, we can see how to make sure our park respond to the current population we have right now.
Okay, so in other words, just increase that.
Increase
Yeah,
action for the
components
children.
at that park. So
That's
that's a big toy component.
Yeah.
That was built in 2007. I'm in touch with John LaRue all the time to put that in. I can talk to him and see how we can expand it, what it would cost and what it would take to do that.
I sent an email to the grant maker. I haven't had any response.
Yep.
So because I said, if we can have grants, we don't have the money, that grants that can
Mhm. Supplement or help.
supplement this because we need it. We need to offer more for the children, even last month, our Council Vargas was talking about, we need for children who have disabilities to be able to go to a park to
Mhm.
enjoy. We do not have that. So it's time to really do things with the time we
Correct,
are currently living.
Agreed.
So I would appreciate the follow-up
I will.
on those 3 parks we
Sure.
have, Aqueduct, Spec,
Yep.
and
Like I
Dory.
said, I did address Aqueduct with,
Yes,
just to get an
thank you.
idea of what the curtail of the work was at Narragansett paving. I know, looking at your pictures, it looks like the same situation at Doric. but I'll go out there myself tomorrow.
Definitely, definitely. As we are talking about facilities, I would like if you can give us a little bit update on the pool.
I'm going to
Mud
give you
Blanc
a
pool.
brief update. I didn't come with that. Everything I'm going to tell you is off my head. I do have a meeting planned with the Recreation Advisory Board, which I've decided to recreate again. That was kind of dormant for a few years, just to get their ideas on some of the pool. We want to open the pool.
I hate to interrupt, Director. It's not on the pool's not on the docket.
I
just don't want to.
Yeah, that's
I'm
why I
okay.
said I was going
I
to be
wanna-
brief on it, and
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
see
thought
it
so.
in these, in the facilities. That's why I asked. So it's. That's why I asked. It's there in this,
I'll defer to
Yeah.
solicitor.
Well, if it's part of the director's report on playgrounds, then it's part of the report that's under discussion on the site.
Yeah, I mean, I took that. That was basically, I don't want to say generic, but a form letter of all our playgrounds. But yeah, we do plan on opening the pool. After the meeting last week with the ARPA money, there are some encouraging signs that we may qualify to use some of that for the reopening and or refurbishing of it. We're deciding on whether it's what route we're going to go, whether it's going to be a new one or refurbishing. And I got to bring people in, engineers in to look at what's going on underneath there. I'm hearing different stories from different people on they're putting water in, they're not putting it in. So that's something that we're going to get on. We started this month and in January we'll be right on it. Because by March, normally, I ran pools in Providence. You can start that up into May. You got the whole month of May and into June to get it done. We're going to have to start earlier than that.
thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Great question. Thank you. I just didn't want to stray off.
And Councilman, you want to call me tomorrow? I can give you more detail on what I have already in the
Definitely,
docket for
I
the
will,
pool.
definitely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Council Member Donegan.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to say that I'm excited to see the Whipple Street Park playground on the list here. That's going to be potentially getting redone. That's one that's certainly in need of some TLC.
And John, when we get to going down there to decide what we're going to do, you're more than welcome to come by, speak with myself and John and see what you think would fit in that spot.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
I'm so sorry.
Councilmember
Councilwoman.
Vargas.
Sorry about that. I'll make it quick. Smith Street, I know that's on there. It's part of the CDBG funds because I
Correct.
know that's kind of like
Yep,
outside the color
purple.
coding map, exactly purple. Time frame. I'm just curious. It's cold out, but is the time frame on this to start?
Again,
When?
I have everything in folders ready to go on all 4 of those playgrounds. I've already met with Tim Sanzi. We wanted to get the splash pad thing up on board. We've been working with the Friendly also. We're going to get right on it. We have time as far as the eligibility period, but it's something that, I want to get right on, put together and get specs out for bids.
All right, thank you. And one last thing is Compman on here on the list. I know that big toy separated by big toy Compman and then landscape structure and unknown. What does Compman mean? I'm
Kopman's a-
sorry.
Kopman, it's a different company, like a Big Toy. It's a different playground provider. Big Toy is the way most people are going now. They're the
The
big
John
ones.
LaRue one.
But Kopman, they make a good product too. But from looking at, Woodridge was the last time we used Kopman.
Okay, great, thank you. And I do want to say thank you as well for your patience and collaboration on all the information that a grant writer has requested
Good.
over
Is
the
she
last
happy with
few
some of that?
weeks. So absolutely, she's
Good.
definitely working on that
Excellent.
and I appreciate that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Got to give credit where credit's due, right? So thank you.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much. And Director, if you don't mind, can you email what you gave us tonight to the
Sure.
council?
Sure.
Or at least send it to the city clerk. There are a
Okay.
couple of members absent tonight. And I'd like them to be able to see this information as well. It's good stuff. Any other questions on playgrounds before we move on? There being none. Director, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you, people.
Greatly appreciated. That was the last agenda item on here. Just want to give everyone an update that yard waste pickup is next week's the last week for yard waste pickup. So let your constituents know, and if anybody calls you, Next week is it. Any other questions or concerns for this evening for Public Works? There being none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Hey, clerk, will you please take the roll?
Councilmember Riley,
Yes.
Councilmember Campiano,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas, Councilmember Marino,
Yes.
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes. We are adjourned. Thank you. Yeah, we'll start ordinance committee in 5 minutes. Thank you.
All right, if we can take our seats and get started with the December Ordinance Committee meeting. And Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Vice Chairwoman Renzulli, Council Vice President Ferry, Councilwoman Vargas,
Present.
Councilwoman Jermaine,
Present.
Councilman Campopiano,
Present.
Chairperson Riley,
Present.
Council President Paplaskas.
Present.
Now I'll entertain a motion to continue the minutes to next month.
So moves.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilmember Campopiano,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Chairperson Riley,
Yes.
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes.
Votes are 5 in the affirmative, none in the negative.
Thank you. Moving on, ordinance 6-21-03. That ordinance is going to be withdrawn. I've put numerous revisions to it, kind of going back, taking some of the financial matters. So rather than resubmitting it with numerous amendments, I'll just withdraw it and resubmit the entirety of it after we submit it to one another. So unless there's any objection to that being withdrawn. Seeing none, let's move on. 9-21-04. That is animals, roosters. I believe is doesn't have, is that yours or?
Mr. Chairman, if I'm not mistaken, that's going to be carried.
Yeah, okay. So I understand that's going to be, I'll entertain a motion to continue that 1 month.
So moves.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none. Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilmember Campopiano,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Chairperson Riley,
Yes.
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes.
Motion, there are 5 votes in the affirmative.
Thank you. Attorney Angel, can we take the next two as a block or do they have to be done separately?
No, they have to be done separately, Mr. Chairman, and if I may, I have a comment or two on these. First of all, 9-2101 and 9-2102 need a sponsor. The petitioner is listed as the sponsor, and we've had this discussion on the charter. That just can't be. The other thing is, it looks like, I don't think the solicitor's office drafted this because the text of the ordinance would seem to say add colon and then delete colon. Might I suggest that the Word version of this be forwarded to me, since it's not a substantive amendment? That way I can get it in the proper form for the clerk, since we're kind of short. It's not on the ordinance though, Mr. President. It's not on the ordinance document. So if those ordinance documents are forwarded to me in Word, we can get those changes made as to the sponsor and as to the proper addition and deletion nomenclature. That way, we're going to be short a clerk for a little while. So we're just trying to make things easy on her.
Do you suggest me continuing this 1 month?
I wouldn't continue
Oh.
it. I mean, I think you go ahead with it, but
Okay.
it'd be because it's not a substantive change, it's clerical change. If they can be forwarded to me, I'm happy to make sure that it gets done properly and take the burden off the clerk's office.
Thank you. Council President?
Yeah, just a point of information. I'm listed as the sponsor on the docket, but I guess not on the agenda itself. I have no problem sponsoring it.
Thank you. And is a representative from Charlie Barn here tonight?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. John Mancini on behalf of the owner applicant with respect to the property located at 777 Cranston Street. I'm just gonna get this situated so that we can go from there. So a couple of things procedurally, Mr. Solicitor, I drafted those ordinances and I don't have a problem in submitting them to you. And-
If you can send them over to me, Mr.
Absolutely. In fact-
Mancini, I'll, make
Yeah.
sure that you're in agreement with the form.
Sure, and if it's okay with you, what I can do as well is just speak with you on the phone. I can make the changes so that way the
fine.
burden's even less for you. And
That's fine. Let's be in touch on that.
yeah,
Thank you.
okay, very good. Yeah, I apologize for that. We did prepare them just for expedited purposes and kind of revise that. We were not aware of the need for the sponsor, but that's good to know. Yeah, I figured I didn't do it right. It has been vacant for quite some time. The trolley barn was part of the Narragansett Brewery site, and the Narragansett Brewery site was developed in the late 1990s, specifically in 1998, 1999. It was developed as part of a multi-plan district development. It was one of the first that the city of Cranston had done. And you've seen over time how that has essentially perpetuated itself into a very sustainable complex and a very useful complex for the neighborhood and for the area. The trolley barn, unfortunately, has not been able to reach the same type of viability as the Narragansett Brewery Parkade site. And we have recently now been able to finally breathe some life into this project with the proposal that's before the board. As the council members are fully aware, the comprehensive plan was changed when it was initially drafted to provide for this area to be designated as special zoning or particular zoning different than the surrounding area. And it's always been because of a consideration of this parcel being an important element to the overall neighborhood and an important element to the entrance of Cranston. You've seen over the course of time how the parcel across the street, which is also part of Narragansett Brewery Parkade. I think many people don't realize how large that parcel is because it goes from Cranston Street all the way, well, it goes from one side of Cranston Street where what was the Hamilton building all the way across to almost Providence, and incorporates along the way a very large pond. It also incorporates in the Texas Roadhouse, and then incorporates what is now Achievement First Charter School, and then incorporates the Cranston Police Department. This is the final piece of that puzzle. And what we're proposing before the planning board and what we're asking this council to do is to rezone that section of property, which is about 6.9 acres, and to rezone it from its current designation to a C4 designation. And that allows for the mixture of uses that we're proposing with this site, which is going to be a 35,000 square foot retail warehouse distribution facility, a 5,500 square foot convenience store, gas station, and then two smaller pad sites, one for fast food and the second for a bank. The idea is for all of it to be encompassed on one property. The focus of this lot is going to be what we've have been able to acquire as a tenant, which is the auto zone. As I mentioned, it's a 35,000 square foot building. It's going to work as both the retail portion, and it's also going to work as their main distribution center for Rhode Island. What AutoZone has been doing, as I think many retailers have started to do, and as you probably have recognized, and it's been expedited by way of COVID, is the distribution centers have become an important part. And AutoZone is no different. And what AutoZone has done is they have designated one location within particular areas as their main distribution hub, if you will. And Cranston has been designated as such, and this is the location for it, which I think is a benefit to both the community and to the state as a large. So the building itself is going to be typical AutoZone, and one of the elements that in addition to the change in zone in our ordinance, we're also requesting some change in signage. The existing ordinance would only allow us essentially 30 square foot sign. And for a building of this size, and for the location of the building, the signage that we're asking for, I will strike that, the signage which would be permitted to us really wouldn't be adequate. So we initially asked for signage of about 250 square feet. And that was part of a robust discussion with regards to that signage with the planning board. And we've agreed to reduce the signage to 150 feet, which is essentially a sign that's 30 feet in width, 5 feet in height, giving us 150 square feet. If you go back to the Narragansett Brewery Parkade site, you'll see that the signage there, and on many of those buildings, for example, recently, the zoning board granted relief for signage at the edge. It's the edge physical fitness, or I may have that wrong, but it's a large sign. It's significantly larger than what is being proposed here. Also, Stop and Shop in the Narragansett Brewery Parkade site has a much larger sign, as does Lowe's, as does Billerton Coat Factory. So we think this sign comports with the general character of the surrounding area, and certainly will not be obtrusive with respect to this location, this site. And the planning board agreed with that determination. So this project, as you may know, started as a major land development project, which requires review from the planning board. We did obtain that review from the planning board as part of the major land development project. It did receive conditional master plan approval, subject to this council's review of our zone change. What's before you are two particular ordinances. One ordinance is for amendment to the comprehensive plan. That amendment to the comprehensive plan accompanies the zone change, which is the second ordinance. The second ordinance accomplishes the zone change, and it also accomplishes the signage request. The site plan has been denoted, and I have with me virtually I have with me the engineer from Dupree Engineering, Dana Nisbet. She can put the plan up for us, and we'll kind of walk through the plan set if that's what the board wishes. I also have Joe Lombardo, who's our expert with respect to the comprehensive plan as well as to the zone change. So with that, if the board has any questions, I'd be more than happy to walk through our site plan proposal, our layout, both traffic layout internally and externally, and also have our engineer testify with regards to our site layout. I will have at the council meeting all of our experts available so that we can essentially go through this project from beginning to end. It's been a significant development where the applicant has really gone above and beyond the requirements for master plan. For example, the planning board requested a traffic report, which, as you may know, is not usually done at that master plan, but we had no issue in producing that. We also paid for a peer review that was done by Fuss and O'Neill. And Fuss and O'Neill had also reviewed our traffic report. We had also brought the project to the city of Providence because of the location of the project and because of some of the other improvements going around the area, specifically with respect to the bike path. City of Providence had wanted to ensure that we could incorporate some of the thoughts and processes that they have been developing with regards to that bike path. And we were able to do that. And that's been incorporated in our plans. So the positive recommendation was provided by the planning board. Positive staff recommendation was provided by your planning staff. An approval from the planning board was also granted conditionally with regards to the master plan. Peer review has reviewed the traffic study and found our traffic report to be acceptable and viable. And I think the uses will be something that will accompany and kind of be a good synergy with respect to the local area. One final point, there are residences, as you know, in front of this parcel. And I think the board also knows that based on the zoning, those residences are non-conforming uses. That area is also zoned special zoning. It's also part of the industrial zoning. And so we think that this site really kind of comes together in forming more continuity along Cranston Street. And that is more identified in Mr. Lombardo's report. And again, we can prepare him for you as well. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I'm prepared for any questions you have.
Thank you. So before we get into questions at this time, we'll do see if anyone from the public in the audience wants to speak for or against this ordinance.
He's already spoken.
anyone on Zoom like to be heard for or against this ordinance?
See no public comment?
At this time, I'll close public comment and open up to discussion. I'll ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve 9-21-01 since we have to take them separately.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none? Oh, I'm sorry, Council President.
I just had a question if Planning Commission or a member of the planning staff had anything to add this evening.
No, no, Joshua Berry, senior planner for the record. No, I think everything that Mr. Mancini said was accurate. Maybe just a few little technical things. The zoning is not special redevelopment. It's a M2 industrial zone, both for the existing site. The proposal of 9-21-02 is to change it to C5 with conditions. And then the residential, the non-conforming residential uses across the street, those are also zoned M2 industrial. They're legal non-conforming uses. I think there's 4 3-family homes right across from where the proposed gas pumps are supposed to be located. One point of clarification with your motion, Councilman Pavlakis, would be that we found a couple of edits and we try to itemize those for 9-21-01. After taking a closer look towards the end of the process, we found a couple of references to the former trolley barn site that we believe should also be deleted from the comprehensive plan, consistent with the intent of the ordinance. The comprehensive plan in multiple sections recommended a mixed-use development. We found that a multi-use development and a mixed-use development are not the same thing. This is a multi-use commercial development. We did have a positive recommendation, but with the conditions that it be amended as was forwarded, I believe, yesterday or today to the ordinance committee and council. If there's any questions about those edits, I mean, they're really just a couple of sections. I think it was page 179 and page 142. We added to the existing ordinance to delete references recommending a mixed use development at the trolley barn site.
And those edits were included in the email we received with all the attachments.
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions, Chair.
Any other discussion? Yes, Councilwoman Marino.
Thank you to the chair. I did attend the Plan Commission meeting on this issue the other evening, and I did just have something for you, Attorney Mancini, to address. There was, if I'm not mistaken, a negative finding, but from the planning staff with respect to the issue of the gas pumps being located 100 feet away from the 4 residential 3-family homes. And that was eventually withdrawn from the recommendations by a motion that was voted for approval to withdraw that section at the meeting. But what I was looking to hear and didn't was an opportunity for you to at least address, was that even explored as a possibility, to locate them in a different area on the property?
Yeah, no, that's a great comment. And just to give the board a bit more background on that. Well, one of the original conditions of the planning board staff's recommendation was that the pumps, the gas pumps, which now are located, if you see the site plan, they're located right off of Cranston Street. They meet all the dimensional regulations and requirements of your code. So they're perfectly situated as far as code compliance. But one of the issues that the staff had was more of aesthetic purposes with respect to flipping the building and the gas pumps so that the building would be facing Cranston Street and the gas pumps would be to the rear of the building, kind of keeping more of, as I noted earlier, the continuity. Planning board thought that was an excessive request, an excessive consideration or recommendation, and therefore decided to not go along with that recommendation. But I can tell you that the developer and owner of the property will look into that. Whether the gas pumps are in front of the building or behind the building, I don't think will be a detrimental impact to the business itself. I mean, people know it's a gas station. They will know the pumps are there. And, the proposal for this site is convenience stores, as you probably can imagine, are starting to slowly become obsolete. And so the proposal here, it's a larger than your usual convenience store. It's a 5,500 square foot convenience store. And it's really going to be marketed more as a market as opposed to a convenience store, with gas being a secondary use as opposed to a primary use. And that's also in preparation for, the ultimate elimination of gas. I mean, that's probably not going to happen in my lifetime, but it may happen. And so the long-term range plan for these types of developments is to take that into consideration. So there's two things that are going to be done there. One is there's going to be more effort towards a smaller marketplace with fresh food, and as opposed to just concessions, if you will. And secondly, is to also ensure that there's hookups for electric cars rather. So that's going to be the other component. So I know that's a long response to your simple question, but the answer, simply put, is that yes, we will look into doing the flip. We had discussed that with planning. We thought that that was something that we could achieve, and it's something that we would be willing to do. And that condition that the planning department had put on there was basically essentially asking us to use best efforts to try to see if we could accomplish that. And I think we can, so.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please take the roll on 9-21-01.
Councilmember Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilmember Capabiano,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Chairperson Riley,
Yes,
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes.
Votes are 5 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative.
we'll entertain a motion for 9-21-02.
Motion to approve.
Second for discussion.
And is there any public comment for or against this in chambers? Is there any public comment on Zoom relative to this ordinance?
See no public comment.
Thank you. And any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilmember Capabiano,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Chairperson Riley,
Yes,
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes.
Votes are 5 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative.
thank you. And moving on, I'll entertain a motion to continue this to February.
Through the chair, yes, that is correct. I'd like to continue this to the February Ordinance Committee meeting.
I'll entertain a motion to continue.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilmember Capabiano,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Chairperson Riley,
Yes,
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes.
5 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative.
and I will also, moving on to the new matters before the committee, I will entertain a motion to continue 11-21-01 for 1 month.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilmember Capabiano,
Yes.
Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Chairperson Riley,
Yes,
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes.
Votes are 5 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Councilmember Jermaine,
Yes.
Councilmember Capabiano, Councilmember Vargas,
Yes.
Chairperson Riley,
Yes.
Council President Paplaskas.
Yes.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.